Lainey McHugh has nominated Vicki Tesoro. That nomination has been seconded by Mr. Ray Baldwin. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Vicki Tesoro will be the endorsed candidate for First Selectman for the Democratic Party. So we're going to hear from Vicki right after we see this little video that's going to play on this screen right here, and then we'll hear from our candidate.
Hi, my name is Vicki Tesoro, and I'm running for the office of First Selectman in Trumbull. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce myself to you and tell you why I am running. I was born in Norwalk, Connecticut. I have one brother, and my parents were the owners of Humpty Dumpty toy stores in Darien and Norwalk. I attended Norwalk Public Schools, and when it came time to go to college, I chose UConn. I was not disappointed. I then attended and graduated from the Paralegal Institute in Philadelphia, and then earned my master's degree in taxation from Pace University. My professional career began with the law firm of Whitman & Ransom, and then Robinson & Cole. I am currently affiliated with Smith & Grant in Greenwich as an independent fiduciary and income tax consultant. I am married to my husband Tom for 30 years, and I've raised 2 daughters, both of whom attended Trumbull Public Schools. Both of my daughters are college graduates and are young professionals. Prior to the current town administration, I volunteered in leadership roles in the PTA for Tashua, Madison, and Trumbull High. During that time, we championed improvements in our school system, including low class sizes, improved intervention services, and enhanced security. And I will continue to advocate for improved mental health supports for our citizens. I'm extremely proud of my affiliation with Trumbull Partnership Against Underage Drinking and Drugs, known as TPOD, where I am currently the community chairman. My commitment to fighting substance abuse, particularly among our youth, is a passion I have held for well over a decade. I developed the Underage Drinking Forum, a program which educates youth and parents on the dangers and risks of underage drinking and drugs. That program has served as a model for programs across the state, and I was awarded the Clarence Hyman Award for my work. For the last 4 years, I have had the honor of serving as District 3 representative in our town council.
Mr. Tesoro.
The last 2 as minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I am proud of my work on the council, including my fight to have public comments on the town council agenda and my votes for increased senior tax relief and against wasteful spending. So why am I running? I'm not a career politician seeking ever higher office. Instead, I am a Trumbull resident concerned with what is happening in our town. Please make no mistake, I love Trumbull, and I'm proud to live here. I made the choice to raise my family here nearly 25 years ago, and I have never regretted it. Trumbull is a great place to live. However, over the last 6 years, and particularly the last 4, when I have seen Trumbull politics up close, I have become concerned about how things are being done. Now, Trumbull politics has always had a sharp edge to it, and both parties acted like children at times. But the last 6 years have taken it to a new low. I have seen qualified people who want to volunteer for our community denied simply because of their party affiliation. I have seen a charter revision done with minimal input and little effort to educate our citizens. I have seen our town redistricted with no debate and the public input ignored. I have seen endless lawsuits where only the lawyers benefit. I have seen 6-year contracts with large salaries given to town employees with no input from the public. Trumbull is a great town, but its politics do not reflect who we are. Concepts of respect, compromise, and consensus are lost in silly, sometimes vindictive political bickering. It is simply ridiculous that concerns about a high school musical or a collection of paintings in our library are so mishandled that we make national news. It is unbelievable that a town party like Trumbull Day becomes a political football. We deserve better, and it is time for a new direction. It is a time to remember we are a small town and we are all neighbors. Our politics should reflect the best of our community, not the worst of Washington. This is why I'm running, because I believe together we will make our fine community better, and together we can achieve great things. I am running not because I want it to be about me, but about what we can do together. I hope you will support me on November 3rd, and thank you for listening. I'm Vicki Tesoro, and I approve this message. Thank you, everybody. Obviously, I'm touched, I'm overwhelmed, and I might be rendered speechless. Can you believe that, Tom? Right. Before I start, I just want to recognize a few people that are here tonight. Our former First Selectman, Paul Timpanelli and Dave Wilson. I'd also like to recognize our two candidates that ran in the previous two elections for First Selectman, Mary Beth Thornton and Martha Mark. Thank you. I'd also like to thank those that organized and planned this convention. As you can imagine, it's a lot of work to do this. So Lisa Labella, thank you very much. Cindy Tatsky, thank you. Tom Kelly, over there, thank you. A few more thank yous if you'll indulge in me. And that, the three other people that I have to recognize here, I did it when I made my announcement, but you know, I couldn't stand here before any of you, as most of us couldn't without our family's support behind us. So I have to ask my husband Tom, and stand up, and my two round of applause for Tom, yes. And my two beautiful daughters, Laura and Melissa, please. And thank you, Mel, for singing for me tonight. Okay, now I have to put my glasses on. I am truly honored and humbled by the confidence you've expressed in me tonight. I will honor that confidence by working hard in the upcoming weeks to complete our platform and deliver our message to the community. Let me first thank Dan Drew, Tom Kelly, Elaine Italian, Ray Baldwin, and Lainey McHugh for their wonderful remarks. Dan, is Dan still here? No? Okay. Dan, thank you for coming tonight. I'll say this anyways, even though you're not here. Your words and actions should serve as an inspiration to us. Wow. What does that mean? Politics does not have to be a zero-sum game where there are winners and losers, but a force for positive change. That is how you govern, and Middletown is very lucky to have you as their leader. Tom Kelly, thank you for taking on the thankless task of being our party leader. Your remarks tonight show you to be a sensitive, thoughtful leader, exactly the kind of leadership Trumbull needs in its politics. You take the brunt of the anger of our opposition and always handle it with grace and dignity. Elena, your remarks about Kevin put everything into perspective. Let's all dedicate ourselves to making the world a better place for everyone. There can be no better tribute to Kevin than to follow his example in that regard. Ray, where are you, Ray? There you are. Unlike some in the opposition who think that Trumbull came into existence the moment they were elected, I know it is the hard work, dedication, and commitment by people like you who had Trumbull winning awards and recognition long before 2009. Our open space, our fantastic preschool, improvements in our education system, and so much more are your legacy. Marine, Vietnam veteran, police officer, lawyer, town council member, and four-time First Selectman are a testament to your love of community and country. I am honored to have you nominate me. Lainey, we've stood shoulder to shoulder on so many occasions, fighting to make a great community like Trumbull even better. Your election to the Board of Finance was extraordinary, and your service on that board has been exemplary. You are my friend, and I am proud to have you speak on my behalf. Tonight is a new beginning. It is the beginning of the end of politics as usual in our community. It is the beginning of the end of too few in control of too much. It is the beginning of the end of the arrogance of absolute power. We need a fresh approach. We need it now. We know Trumbull is better and stronger community when we work together, respect each other, and operate under the principles of compromise. We know that respect, consensus, and compromise is a path that must be followed if we are to overcome the challenges we face. We know a community united for a common purpose is far stronger than one where competing interests are set against each other for political gain. We know a government that listens is far better than one that dictates. Respect, consensus, and compromise. That is who we are, and that is how we will act. Tomorrow, our current First Selectman will unveil his vision for Trumbull 2025. If the last few weeks are any indication, he will read my speech and incorporate much of it into his vision. Good for him. But remember, in 2009, he unveiled his blueprint for Trumbull. I would suggest he read that blueprint and do what he promised then before unveiling any new promises tomorrow. When my opponent talks about how he kept tax increases to about 2%, will he talk about how his administration used fiscal gimmicks like raiding our general fund to artificially lower taxes? While he's talking about 2%, will he mention that home sales in Trumbull are up about 2%, while other similar surrounding communities are experiencing double-digit growth? When he talks about his 2%, will he mention we pay the highest sewer use fees in the state, and that our residents pay for water that never reaches the sewer system? When he speaks about our pension funds, will he tell us that our town pension remains woefully underfunded and that he broke his promise to put a percentage of any town surpluses into that fund? I don't think we'll hear much about that. While my opponent will be talking about 2025, I think we need to focus on the real issues we have in Trumbull today. Trumbull 2025 is a nice idea, and will, I'm sure, serve him well when he runs for governor or some other higher office. I am focused on Trumbull today, Trumbull in 2016 and Trumbull in 2017. None of us knows whether our current First Selectman will be here in 2016 or 2017, but I can assure you I will be here, and I will be focused. I will be focused 100% on making our community better. I do not hold his ambition against him. In fact, I believe young men and women should aspire to greater things. However, that is not what Trumbull needs now. Our community needs a fresh approach with leadership focused on Trumbull, not the next office. The team we are nominating this evening reflects who we are and how we will lead, and I thank all of you for stepping forward to serve our community. Let me speak for a minute about our ticket and how it was created. We had 3 criteria to be included. 1, they had a track record of serving our community. 2, they bring to our government a diversity of backgrounds and points of view. And 3, they think for themselves. Our ticket is a fusion of Democrats, unaffiliated voters, and former Republicans who share our vision that a better Trumbull comes from seeking out different points of view coupled with open and honest debate. Some have been Trumbullites all their lives. Others are relatively new here, but bring with them experiences from other places that we can apply here. Some are businessmen and businesswomen. Some are names you've heard before, while others are fresh faces to the political scene. Some have the expertise in finance, technology, or management. Others bring experience from government, education, and law. Let me make one thing very clear. I love Trumbull, and I love living here. We made the choice to raise our family here, and I've never regretted that decision. I have made wonderful lifelong friends here, and I cherish each and every one of them. Trumbull is a great place with even greater potential, but we need a fresh approach in Trumbull, and we need it now. In the last 6 years, politics in the worst sense of the word has invaded every aspect of our community. Let me cite a few examples. It has become so political in Trumbull that Trumbull Day is a political football, and the Trumbull Day Commission is being bypassed this year in the planning for Trumbull Day 2015. Changing the name and moving the date does not change a thing. It is still Trumbull Day, and it should be a community event for the community and planned by the community, not by a select few. The privilege of serving our community as a volunteer has become ridiculously politicized. It has become so political in Trumbull that qualified citizens seeking to serve our community are denied the opportunity to present their qualifications to the full council. Too much power in too few hands. That must change and will change in November. Our charter, the governing document of our community, is routinely ignored for the benefit of the few at the expense of the community. It has become so political in Trumbull that among the thousands of unaffiliated voters in our community, this administration, in order to ignore our charter requirements, had temerity to nominate as an unaffiliated voter a lifelong Republican who changed to an unaffiliated hours before being nominated. Too much power in too few hands. That must change, and it will change in November. It has become so political in Trumbull that a high school musical becomes so controversial that we make national news. It has become so political in Trumbull that an art exhibition becomes a spectacle that puts our community in a bad light. Too much power in too few hands. That must change, and it will change in November. Taxpayer dollars are being spent with little oversight and even less common sense. It has become so political in Trumbull that this administration feels empowered to give a six-figure, 6-year contract and full benefits. Who gets 6-year contracts worth nearly $1 million taxpayer dollars? It has become so political in Trumbull that the opposition feels empowered to push through a 20% increase in salaries without proper benchmarking, public input, or following proper process. Too much power in too few hands. That must change, and it will change in November. It has become so political that we can't even talk to our neighboring communities. We sue Bridgeport, we sue Monroe, and it seems if we could even sue ourselves. Too much power in too few hands. That must change. It will change in November. As Tom Kelly said so eloquently before my speech, my opponent has been quoted as saying, "I reject the notion that something needs to change." That is not surprising to hear. History shows that those with absolute power oftentimes can't see past their nose. History shows that those unwilling to listen are those that never learn. We need a fresh approach in Trumbull, a fresh approach that makes lawsuits a last resort rather than the beginning, a fresh approach that builds bridges rather than burns them, a fresh approach that welcomes and, in fact, actively seeks out public input. But it is not enough to show you why we need new leadership with a fresh approach without showing what we will do different. So let me make a few commitments. First, I will run an issue-oriented, positive campaign. If elected, I will refuse the increase in pay that results from the ordinance recently passed. I will insist that this ordinance be repealed immediately and we start fresh with respect to what, if any, raise is required for elected positions. We will recommend that either the charter be revised or a referendum be placed on the November 2016 ballot on the question of 4 versus 7 districts. The people should decide how their government should look, not partisan politicians. We will advocate that either the charter be revised or a referendum be placed on the November 2016 ballot regarding the question of term limits. I believe in term limits, but that is the people's choice. To our citizens who suffer under the burden of the highest sewer use fees in the state, we will work with our neighboring communities to resolve the sewer mess for a generation to come. We will start by ending the practice of charging you for water that never enters our sewer. To our citizens who have called for a light at the entrance of the Chips shopping area, we will do just that. This administration talks about it, issues press releases about it, but we will get it done. To our seniors, we will offer real senior tax relief for our needy seniors, and you will not have to volunteer to get it. And we will expand senior programming. To our youth, we will hire a director of youth programs and make our youth center and youth programs a model for every community. We will properly prioritize our school system to move education forward. To all of our citizens, we will explore the need for a community center that brings us all together. It will incorporate programs for everyone. We will do this the right way by forming a real study committee that represents a cross-section of the entire community. We will make sure that our town library remains where it is now at 33 Quality Street. Finally, we need to build on Trumbull's traditions that have made this a great community. We look to have more community events and a return of the traditional Trumbull Day in the summer when we all can participate. We will all listen to you because guess what? I don't have all the answers. And we will tap our most valuable resource in our town volunteers, to make these programs and events a reality. I do have to repeat that one more time. I don't have all the answers, especially for my children. Beginning in August, we will be releasing our platforms on good government, economic development, pensions, and many more. I would give some hints tonight, but I don't want to write the First Selectman speech for tomorrow. I take pride in his co-opting many of my ideas for my announcement and making them his own, but I prefer to have my own ideas delivered in my own way. I know our opponents will try to paint our party as tax and spenders. I will say this about spending. When my opponent was a candidate in 2009, he complained about his predecessor's spending. Are we spending any less today? No, we are not. In fact, we are spending more. What has changed is their priorities. Our priorities will be different than theirs. I will say this about taxes. As I said in my announcement, low, predictable tax increases are good. No tax increases are better. I repeat that, but refuse to make predictions or promises I have no intention of keeping. Making promises in order to get elected is one of the reasons so many are turned off by government. Once we are elected in November, that will be a thing of the past, because what we say and what we do will be the same. We will approach every budget season the same way a well-functioning business prepares their annual budgets. I will meet with every department head, and together we will review each and every dollar spent. Every dollar will be justified before it goes into the budget. Every dollar proposed to be spent will be clearly explained to our taxpayers. There are many things we'd like to do, but we can't afford to do everything at once. We believe in incremental progress, measured for success, and then altered as necessary. As First Selectman, I will hold a public hearing before I submit my budget to the Board of Finance. I want to hear what you think. Finally, there will be no budget gimmicks like raiding the general fund to mask real spending. These are just a few comments. More will be said in the upcoming weeks, and when the people of Trumbull see our platform and approach, I am confident they will choose us to lead our community. Let me close this way. We need a fresh approach, and we need it now. Endless confrontation, lawsuits, and controversy must stop. We need a fresh approach, and we need it now. To paraphrase Abraham Lincoln, government by party politics, for party politics, and for the benefit of party politics must perish from the face of Trumbull. We need a fresh approach, and we need it now. The systematic exclusion of input from citizens who do not agree with this administration is poison to our community, and it must stop. We need a fresh approach, and we need it now. Respect, consensus, and compromise. We can win this together. Remember, this is not about me. This is about we. Together, we can give Trumbull a fresh approach. Thank you, and good night. I'm Vicki Tesoro, and I approve this message.
Buy some t-shirts!